Hello, you can call me Hank. And I, Hank, am here to tell you about viruses. And when I say viruses, I don't mean the kind that makes your computer not function properly, but the kind that makes blood come out of your anus, even if you're not a chick. Biological viruses. The discovery of viruses began in the late 18th century, when a man, Edward Jenner, noticed that a certain milkmaid, Miss Sarah Nelmus, was immune to the horrible disease back then known as smallpox. By using her blood, he later managed to create the very first vaccine ever. And ever since then, man was aware that something fishy was going on the microscopical level, other than villainous bacteria and the popularity of German folk music. Even later, in the late 19th century, a Russian dude, Dmitry Ivanovsky, published experiments he had done with a porcelain filter and infected tobacco plants, proving that the extract of the crushed leaf was still infectious, even after all bacteria had been filtered from the solution. Dutch microbiologist Martinus Beijerinck named them virus after his mother's meatloaf. And ever since a few days after that, viruses became the belle of the ball of infectious disease. However, it wasn't until later, with the invention of the electron microscope, that man was finally able to see the viral particle, without the use of recreational drugs or silly pictures. Oh, hi there, little Tammy.
Hi, I was just wondering, what does a virus looks like?
You want to know that, do you? Then you better come along with me to the sick people house, where viruses are plentiful.
Who are these people?
Why, they are the unhygienic people, Tammy. Due to their unhygienic and generally unhealthy living conditions, they are riddled with disease, making them ideal for study purposes. Hi, Philip.
Oh, hi, Hank.
Philip here is a scientician, and he is currently monitoring this here insanitary person to see if he's been infected with any new exciting diseases. So, Philip, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great, Hank. This unsanitary man is crawling with viruses and diseases. He's in a terrible condition, which makes him a really good object of study.
Is there any way that little Tammy here could get to see one of these viruses?
Sure there is! Just put these magical space goggles on.
Wow, everything looks so great. Where are we?
We're still in the sick people house, little Tammy. But with these magical space goggles on, every little thing looks way bigger. Isn't that so, Philip?
You are correct, fat ass. What we're seeing now are the atoms, the molecules that are the building stones of all the things in the universe. Now, if you look towards the unclean guy.
Ew, look at all the gross things covering his body.
They sure are gross, Tammy. But not only are they gross, but they're also the viruses and germs that keeps him in such a bad condition. Let's take a closer look. This thing here is a virus, and as you can see, it is made up of two main parts. First, we have the capsid, which is a layer of protein that is designed to protect the second part, the virus's genetic material, which consists of ribonucleic acids in the form of RNA, or in some cases, DNA. However, some viruses also have another external layer covering the capsid. This layer is known as the lipid, and the lipids are used when the virus is about to commence with reproduction.
Do you mean making babies?
Yes, if by making babies you mean replicating itself. You see, Tammy, a virus has no penis or vagina and can therefore not reproduce on its own. Instead, it infects cells and cells of other living organisms by attaching itself to them, in some cases by using the lipid layer. After it has successfully attached itself, it begins with drilling a hole through the cell until it reaches the core by using some homemade proteins. Once it has reached the core, it commences with replacing the cell's genetic makeup with its own, which causes the cell to start creating copies of the virus that infected it. These copies are then either let out one by one or remains inside the cell until it's so chock full that it bursts open and all of the little baby viruses are let out.
But what happens to the cells then?
If a cell is infected with a virus, it is beyond all salvation, which is fancy talk for dead.
But isn't that bad?
It sure is, Tammy, but not to fear. For you see, the body is not an idiot, and it can recognize the viruses for the damn dirty apes they are. The body has something that we call an immune system, and this system is specifically designed to find and root out any and all foreign organisms that they find within the body.
Do you mean like Norwegians?
Yes, that's right, Tammy. A very important part of the immune system are the white blood cells. These are like the body's own personal military force. Whenever the immune system finds a foreign organism, the white blood cells are dispatched to take care of the problem by brutally beating it to death and then eating the remains, much like the cannibals of southeastern Europe.